Another descriptive term that I think is so significant to being one of God's people is those of the way. I love that term. Notice Acts chapter 9 and verse 2. When it describes what Paul was about, his persecution of the church, it says, and asked letters from him to the synagogues of Damascus, so that if he found any who were of the way, whether men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. Well, when Paul referred to himself in 1 Timothy as the chief of sinners, it was because he persecuted the church. And so we know that those who are of the way are those who are in the church. When he asked Jesus on the road to Damascus, "Who are you, Lord?" He said, "I'm the one you're persecuting." Well, who was Paul persecuting? He was persecuting the church. He was persecuting Christ and his brethren, those of the way. Notice in Acts chapter 22 and verse 4, I persecuted this way to the death, binding and delivering into prison both men and women. Notice verse 14 of chapter 24. But this I confess to you, that according to the way which they call a sect, so I worship the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. And so, first he was persecuting this way. Then he was, in recounting his conversion, he says that what he was persecuting was this way. And then he says that I worship the God of my fathers according to the way. Well, the significance of that term, the way, is its implication of an active lifestyle of following God. You know, when you talk about being in the way, it means that you're in a specific direction. You're in a specific course. You know, somebody will ask, do you know the way to such and such? And you will give them a specific course to get to their destination. Well, what is our destination? Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, let us run the race. What's the destination that we're going to? It's heaven, where Christ sits at the right hand of God. And if we're in the church, the true New Testament church that Jesus shed his blood to purchase, then we're in the way that will take us to heaven, the one and only way. And it refers to an active lifestyle of living the way that will get us to heaven. It is a designation that strongly implies faithfulness. You remember in John chapter 14 and verse 6, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. And so when we're looking at this designation, those of the way, well, it's very obvious that it's the brethren of Christ, the disciples of Christ, the believers of Christ that are in that way. The one way, that is Jesus Christ. The way that will take us to heaven. You know, I've been to places where the people were just plumb mean. And you get out and you ask them directions, and they would tell you the wrong way on purpose. And you get lost, and you think, that rotten scoundrel sent me out here the wrong way on purpose. Because there's one way to get where you want to go. And they told you the wrong way. And folks, I'm telling you that everybody that's sitting in a denominational building this morning is being given wrong directions. And they're not going to get to where they want to go. And so it's up to us to tell them the right way to get them to heaven. And you know, I think one of the problems is that they think they're being told the right way. So when you come along, now you just imagine if somebody that you trusted, somebody you loved and trusted, gave you directions to get somewhere, but they were wrong. And then somebody else looks at those directions and says, somebody you don't know, somebody that you don't think cares for you at all, somebody you may even think wants to do you harm. And they say, well, those directions aren't right. You're being sent the wrong way. Then odds are you're not going to listen to them until you go the wrong way and figure out, well, the directions I have are wrong. And then you might turn around and you might listen to the right directions that the other person gave you. Well, the problem is that when a person follows the wrong directions in this way, then when they realize that they've been sent the wrong way, it's going to be too late to turn around and go back the other way. They got to learn the right way now. And it's up to us to teach it. We must be followers of Christ, the way. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. The Hebrews writer, having gone through that roll call of the faithful, says, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us run. Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Now that's the one way. That's the only way that we can get to heaven. What do you suppose at the next Olympic Games would happen if the runners line up on the starting blocks and one is facing the wrong direction, and the starting pistol sounds, and the runners take off in their course in the right way, and the one is running the wrong way? But he makes it around the track the wrong way faster than the others make it around the track the right way. Is he going to win the race? No, he's going to be disqualified. Now you take that example and you put it in the light of denominationalism, and it turns around the other way where everybody's facing the wrong way except for one guy running the right way. Well, it doesn't matter how many are running the wrong way. They're all going to be disqualified. Only the person who runs the course the right direction is going to win the race. And so we need to get as many people into the right way as we can while we have time to do it. Because those who will be saved are those of the way.